The WTA youngster who will have the best 2026 season is not Eala or Victoria Mboko. Alexandra Eala and Victoria Mboko have both enjoyed breakout seasons on the WTA Tour. Eala, a product of the Rafa Nadal Academy, reached the Miami Open semifinals and won her first WTA title. She later became the first Filipina in history to break into the WTA top 50. She has capped off her year by winning the SEA Games women's singles gold medal, becoming the first Filipina to do so since Marie-Chris Fernandez in 1999. As for Victoria Mboko, the Canadian produced one of the greatest runs by a youngster in tennis history, defeating 4 Grand Slam champions on her way to the Canadian Open title. Mboko, who also won the Hong Kong Open in November, captured the WTA Newcomer of the Year award. However, there is another young WTA star who could enjoy a better season in 2026 than both Eala and Mboko. Maya Joint will have the best 2026 season of any WTA youngster. Despite being one of the more impressive young players on the tour this season, discussions surrounding the Australians' progress have frequently been drowned out by the hype surrounding Victoria Mboko and Alexandra Eala. This is of course no fault of Eala's or Mboko's. However, Joint deserves more recognition, and at age 19, she is already well on her way to becoming a tennis superstar. Joint has risen rapidly up the rankings. At the end of the 2024 season, she was ranked 110 in the world. Now she is ranked 32nd and should be a seeded player at the 2026 Australian Open. The Australian won her first 2 titles this year in Rabat and Eastbourne, and with her higher ranking, will be a key contender at WTA events in 2026. Every so often, the women's tour witnesses a star emerging so swiftly that the tennis world collectively holds its breath. In 2025, it was a 17-year-old American named Iva Jovic who began threading her name into the very fabric of the sport's next generation. As we edge into 2026, the compelling narrative of her ascent isn't just about statistics and rankings. It's about a spirit unbound, a racket held with purpose, and the dawning of a truly extraordinary season. The spark that ignited 2025. A prelude to greatness. To understand why the tennis world should be ready for an Iva Jovic surge in 2026, we must rewind to her breakout moment. In 2025, Jovic became the youngest player to win a tour-level event that year, capturing the Guadalajara Open title at just 17 years and 283 days old. That victory was more than a trophy, it was a statement. She defeated more experienced opponents, proved her game under pressure, and did it with a maturity that belied her years. EssentiallyTennis.com. WTA commentators and insiders began to speak of her mental steel, her tactical awareness, and a clean strike pattern that set her apart from her peers. One renowned coach even suggested that if Jovic continued on this trajectory, a top 10 ranking by the end of 2026 might be within reach. EssentiallyTennis.com. Beyond the numbers, what makes Jovic special? It's one thing to talk about points and rankings, but let's delve deeper into the essence of Iva's game, the qualities that could make 2026 her breakthrough year. 1. Mental tenacity. Jovic doesn't crumble. In a sport where confidence is as vital as a serve, she shows a calm under fire rare in teenagers. Few young players can navigate the mental roller coaster of match pressure with such poise, and this psychological edge will be key in larger arenas in 2026. 2. Tactical adaptability. Her style blends aggression with court intelligence. Instead of merely overpowering opponents, she constructs points with precision. This ability to adapt, choosing when to attack, when to defend, and when to outsmart an opponent, suggests longevity at the top level. 3. A game that translates across surfaces. 2026 will test Jovic across hard courts, clay, and grass, the very surfaces that separate promising careers from greatness. Her 2025 results showed promise on multiple surfaces, a harbinger of consistency that often defines champions. Looking ahead, 2026. As the sun rises on a new season, the sport's eyes should be on Iva Jovic for several reasons. Trophy 1. Momentum as a catalyst. Champions don't emerge by chance, they build from momentum. Jovic's first WTA title at a young age is not merely a statistic, it's a psychological launch pad. When a young player experiences success early, they learn to believe not just that they can win, but that they should win. That mindset shift is invaluable. Chart increasing 2. Ranking projection. While specific rankings for 2026 are unpredictable, the trajectory matters. If Jovic continues to compete in high-level events and stays healthy, she could move well inside the top 30 and possibly into the top 20 by mid-season. A deep run at a Grand Slam, even without winning it outright, would accelerate her ascent and change how opponents approach her. Tennis 3. Grand Slam breakthrough potential. Many great players are defined by their slam performances. In 2026, Jovic will be old enough to be taken seriously at all 4 majors. Expect her to reach the second week at least once, an achievement that marks a young star's arrival on the biggest stage. A narrative of grit and grace. The beauty of tennis, especially on the women's tour, is the narrative, the emotional arcs, the unexpected upsets, the rise of new icons who inspire the next generation. Iva Jovic's story is still being written, but the early chapters are rich with promise. A teenage champion born at just the right time. A player with both grit and grace, blending physical prowess with emotional intelligence. A young woman poised to carry not just wins, but belief, into an era rich with talent yet hungry for new icons. Her potential 2026 season isn't just about numbers. It's about impact, the spark that could lead other young players to believe that age is not a barrier, but a badge of bold ambition. Conclusion: why 2026 could be Jovic's year. When you look beyond the headlines and results, the heart of tennis reveals itself not just through champions, but through the rise of new voices in the sport. Iva Jovic is one such voice, young, fearless, and ready to challenge the status quo. As Eala and Mboko capture headlines for their spectacular breakthroughs, Jovic quietly builds something equally compelling. A resilient mindset, a versatile game, and the kind of trajectory that doesn't just hint at success, but demands it. If 2025 was her announcement, then 2026 could very well be her affirmation. A season where she doesn't just compete on the WTA tour, but shapes it.